township of Wiluna is 966 kilometres northeast of Perth and is situated on the edge of the desert at the gateway to the Canning Stock Route and Gunbarrel Highway. Gold was first discovered near Wiluna on St Patrick's Day 1896. The discovery of gold caused a gold rush to the area and the birth of the town, which began to thrive and prosper, with the population growing to over 9,000 people by the mid-1930s. At its peak, the town had a regular railway service to Perth, 4 hotels and many other amenities and facilities. Immediately after World War II, underground mining ceased in the area and gold operations were wound down to virtually nothing. By 1953, only 357 people remained in the area, and by 1963, the population had dwindled down even further to about 90 people. In 1981, gold mining recommenced in the Wiluna area, which began the resurgence in the industry that continues today. The pastoral industry in the region is producing quality cattle and sheep, and experimentation in some agricultural ventures has occurred with some success. The population of the town of Wiluna is in recent years stabilised at about 300, including a large population of Indigenous Australians. The weather conditions are very harsh in the area, with average rainfall of approximately 250 millimetres or 10 inches per annum, and extreme temperature variations between summer at over 40 degrees and winter below freezing.
Well, here we are at the sort of start of the Gunbarrel. It doesn't start the other side of Carnegie, but we're standing out in front of the Gunbarrel grocery store. Cattle got up when I pointed the camera at them. I think they've seen maybe a few rifles pointing at them before. This is Nyolma. It's old abandoned cattle yards. Here comes Larry. He reckons these are finches, these little birds. Which they probably are. He knows a lot more about birds than I do, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely finches.
They got red beaks. This would be the only source of water around for a fair while, I reckon, wouldn't you? And this is actually just pulling in his little nice end. We just stopped for lunch. This is Wanganal, or something like that anyway, Wanganal Creek. It's a good camping area, we're not camping here though. You don't see much water out here, so a place like this is a bit of an oasis really. And it's time to hit the road, and this is where we've been. Just a delightful little spot just in off the road. And we're on our way.
Well, we come over a rise and this is the view that we get, and there's the guys down ahead of us.
Actually, all these dips look worse than they are, boys.
This is the Beadell River. Well, this is Beadell Camp, or Harry Johnson Water. And I'm pointed east at the moment. That's where we're headed, of course.
4:27, and this is Carnegie Station. Carnegie Station is the last place you can buy fuel before Warburton if travelling east, and a welcome end to a gruelling drive across the Gunbarrel if travelling west. Either way, Carnegie offers excellent facilities for the weary traveller with campground or cabins, hot shower, huge camp kitchen and a basic store. HOT Carnegie written on the roof for the identification by aircraft. You don't know what to expect when you come into these places, but this is what it is. When we were in Sandstone, we were talking to a gentleman called Trout, who told us that the lady looking after this place was Faye Smith. Well, this is Faye Smith filling up the cruiser.
No, I knew 90, I should have been 99%. Well, this is the camping ground here at Wiluna. Got the two cruisers over there to patrol here.
Carnegie Station.
Carnegie Station, you're right. It is Carnegie Station. Getting behind myself. This is the first tent I've ever put up in my life, I think. I might have done one or two in Europe, but I can't remember it.
Chateau rigs.
Very impressive, Riggs.
That's Beadell's tent.
And that's Dad's old one over there. It was a good job that being put up, that one over there, wasn't it, Riggs?
I reckon so.
And the Taj is coming along. And Trucky's been ready to go. It took him about 3 minutes to do his. And he's got the fire on. Night 2 dinner here at Carnegie. Braised steak and mushrooms with
Dead mashed potato.
dead mashed potato, which is powdered mashed potato. Sensational. I got the mixture wrong earlier. I had to mix some more in. Wasn't enough. This is Len Beadell. He was the man that built the Gunbarrel Highway. Not single-handedly, but certainly he was the surveyor and the man in charge. A later photo, 1988. That's Len Beadell at Mount Beadell. That was taken in 1965. That's the Gunbarrel construction party there, 1956. That's the grader, all around the Giles area, 1956. The grader's there, we'll be seeing that in a few days. That was Giles' early days, 1956 again. And that's Len Beadell with his stretcher, well that's his Land Rover and his stretcher. That's where he slept across the Gunbarrel Highway itself. One night, going solo on recce as he used to do. Plenty of information here in the Carnegie homestead. Interesting stuff. And that seems to be normal on these trips. Another flat tyre. Certainly for me anyway, these tube tyres, I don't like them. And the sun's rising beautifully on the east at the moment. Another little view of this campsite. And some of the mayhem that goes on here. And directly behind me the camp kitchen. It also doubles as a shop. And a mess hall. Very nice. Dad's made himself laugh again. July.
They're packing it for him, Jack.
July 10,
I want to get up there and help him.
2006.
Down
Did you
here.
mention both of us up there?
Down here hanging shit on him.
Just the underbonnet checks.
All okay.
It's our first encounter today with real bad roads, wasn't it?
That's the only casualty for this old girl.
Broken
You can press a handy lorry on.
fog light.
It's always handy on this car.
Well, here we go. Won't get to Warburton tonight. And as we depart over on the starboard side, there's Carnegie Station.
Gunbarrel, it's only 6 kilometres out of Carnegie. Now this is the bit that's looked after, the bit that's graded and maintained. So it gives us an idea of what she's going to be like a little bit later on when we get to the point, the bit that's never maintained. This should be an interesting day today. Okay, there was an emu with a little chick. Currently about 55 kilometres out from Carnegie, and this is the Gunbarrel as it is at the moment. Okay, over to the side here is the sort of area that Len Beadell, when he surveyed this, had to actually travel through. So they're the sand ridges alongside the road on the Gunbarrel. About 65 kilometres out of Carnegie.
Old Falcon XR, or even an XT wagon. Been out here a while probably. Well, that's our first camel. Unfortunately, it's not the way we wanted to see him. Not a pleasant smell truck.
Love it.
We're now crossing what we believe to be the Fame Ranges. Roads deteriorated, well it's fairly rocky just over this particular piece. We're right in the middle of it. Was that an orange?
Yes.
Road here. There's a number of ridges now across the road. Obviously, whereas it rains, the water rushes down the hill and goes through the road and creates these little drains across the road, I guess you could call it. And they can catch you out if you're not careful. We're now sort of nearly 100 kilometres out of Warburton, and this is the countryside as it is at the moment. Now we have moments where the road is dead smooth and no problems, and you get these corrugations, and then you get rocky outcrops, and then it's back to smooth again. It's really changing all the time. We're on the top of Mount William Lambert. The other two have been stopped to film some camels. That's along the road. And this is they coming up the hill.
They're all present and accounted for. And what are we looking at? We're looking at this. This is the sort of country that we're going to be living in for the next couple of weeks. Around to the side of the hill here, there's a cave in underneath there. As we go around, possibilities of others down there as well. This is a plaque on the top of William Lambert Hill, and this is a cairn on top of the hill. There's a grasshopper cunningly designed to look like the rock. Woke up this morning to a mostly flat left rear did Lauritz, and he's pumped it up twice, once along the gun barrel just then, and he's decided enough's enough. Well, at least you can say you've changed the wheel at the top of Mount William Lambert, and now on the gun barrel. I don't know how many other people could say that. Whether many people want to say that would. Okay, so that was Mount William Lambert, and this is the way down. Back to ye old gun barrel. Rear wheel changed, hopefully no more problems. Because right at the moment we're currently down to one spare. Mind you, we do have a new tube to put into the other tyre, or at least we can repair the one that's damaged. Fairly inhospitable country out here. It's the remains of a truck.
What's that truck? An old International?
Bedford, right?
Bedford truck. Nice one.
Those tyres been any good, do you reckon?
You could get it going, couldn't you?
I'd say from the phone number on the side of the truck that it's been here for quite a while. This is the Mankilly clay pan. In whether you don't dare go across, there's actually a heap of tracks around it. I reckon if you get caught in this, you just go down, down, deeper and down. In actual fact, the road goes through a little curve just here, but basically, look at that into the distance, dead straight. There's the road going on there. The only reason there's a diversion at this point is because of problems with that little straight section that they obviously couldn't fix. Otherwise, the road is just dead gun barrel straight. Hence the Gunbarrel Highway, I guess. Okay, we've left the Shire of Wiluna, and now obviously the track is no longer being maintained at all. Got a couple of cars coming towards us, so we just might try and get a little bit of information from them as we go. Up on the diversion track alongside the main one.
Alright, we've hit some seriously rough roads now. Welcome to the real gun barrel.
This is a... Well, what would you call this?
Call it a datum point.
A datum point.
Yep.
surveyors use.
Yeah.
But say Len Beadell put it there. The man responsible for this road. And thereby opening up Central Australia.
The plaque on the tree is an exact replica of Len's plaque that was lost a few years ago after it was erected in 1968. Connie Sue Beadell put this up in June 2003, and here it is on the tree.
Warburton mission 193 miles. Today we've come 140 miles. It's incredible to think you're in the middle of nowhere, and just with these, whatever they use, sextant and the compass, you just push through the bush, through the spinifex, and had to have some fortitude, I'd suggest.
Okay, this is the Geraldton bore. It was drilled by CRA Exploration in April 1989.
Lunch at Geraldton bore. This is literally about 300, not even that, metres from the Len Beadell tree.
150.
Briggs, what's on the agenda this afternoon?
Well, what we're looking at about 30 kilometres to travel. Then we're at the Everard Junction Len Beadell plaque. It's in about 31 from here, which should say 2:30 or something like that. And
Coming up to the Gary Highway junction too, aren't we?
50.
Get a shot of that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's coming up at 30 k's. Then probably about 50 k's down Len Beadell Monument on the right, and then Mount Beadell, and then Camp Beadell will be another 10 k's on. So probably 100 k's from here, I reckon we'll be stopping, camping the night.
Beautiful.
We're looking at about 150 to Warburton, I reckon, after that tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Okay, we've just left the borehole, and this is the Gibson Desert Nature Reserve we are entering now. Just a perfect shot straight down. That's the Gunbarrel Highway. This is what we're stopping for. There's the Gunbarrel, just straight, dead as straight as a die, just disappearing into the distance. Straight between those two hills down there. Meanwhile, the guys are having a look at the visitors book, which we will all sign duly. And this is Len Beadell signpost. Carnegie Homestead, 152 miles behind us.
The fuel depot here.
Okay, so I've been corrected. As in the past, I've always renamed the country. I've done it again. This is actually Everard Junction, and that's a camel toe. There's obviously a few camels around the place here.
This is another significant Beadell landmark on the Gunbarrel. Northern Territory Surveys, it says. It's just a little rock in the ground there in the middle here. But as I just discovered, they come apart. So some bastard will pinch that, unfortunately, but not us.
Little local animals. That's all you can do with a good feed.
First dingo of the trip. He's obviously seen these vehicles before. He thinks we're a source of food. In the USA we came across a few. Coyotes. He's pretty lean. Right at the foothills we are of Mount Gordon. And there's a potential campground we're just discussing at the moment. Laurie and Gloria. Obviously Laurie's a bit keener at this juncture. Geez, it's a bloody steep climb up here, but hey, the view is worth it. Look at this. Bit of a barney happening down the hill, of course, as to who's going to get the prime spot for pitching a tent and sleeping tonight. We got the moon on one side in the east. There's Woody and Laurie and our camp. Down the bottom, and the sun setting in the west. In the middle of nowhere, really. Absolute middle of nowhere. And a fantastic place to be. You can just see for miles and miles and miles. That's the other part of Mount Everard, and Mount Gordon apparently is across the road over there. And there's the Taj, the Iron Horse, the Rigsmobile and the Kib. And that, of course, not to be forgotten, is the Gunbarrel.
Have you had a bourbon or 2 weeks?
No, not yet.
There we go, it's gone. That's something we haven't seen too much of, cloud.
Good one, Len. Done well. Aye.
One of my mates. Bingo.
Truck's got some chops on the go for tonight. The veggies.
Turned veggies, because Brett wasn't here to turn them.
Because what was Brett doing? Filming the sunset on the mountain with Truckee. Full setup here in the Truckmobile. And for a look at the other side, the other half, see how the other half lives. Oh, onion.
Yep.
Spag bowl.
That's the go.
Yep, onions a must have.
We'll have to put 2 in there, I think.
Oh yeah, you can't have too much onion. Go over the other side. Slaving over. Slaving over dinner.
Yep. Not yet anyway.
Shortly.
Good morning, Tuesday morning, the 11th of July, I believe it is, and it's 8:30 in the morning, and this is the Gunbarrel. We're on it again. It wasn't too cold last night, it was a nice night. This is the countryside we're travelling through at the moment. And we're heading towards Mount Beadell. Well, for anyone who thinks that deserts are huge piles of sand, what we see in the movies in Arabia and that sort of thing, this is the Gibson Desert. This is what it looks like. Well, we had a look at the visitors book back there at the Gary Highway turn-off. It's amazing how many people have been through this track in the last 2 or 3 weeks, let alone so far this year. I mean, there are about 11 or 12 people through here yesterday. Beautiful.
Ah yes, the delights of the Gunbarrel. About 12 kilometres from Mount Beadell, was it?
Yep. In the distance.
They have to drag it out of here somehow, eh? Oh, another one can go ahead and get more fuel at Carnegie and drive back.
Okay, just a little bit of a dodgy road here. No excuse for running him out of fuel on this one. He's with the party that just went past the other way, who apparently the front car is running petrol, gas, split a tank, lost 115 litres. It looks like he's going to be about 50 litres short, or run about 50 kilometres short of Carnegie. We're right in the middle of 3 little hills at the moment. Right ahead of us is Mount Beadell, and that's the next place we're heading for. It's a little track leading up to the top. And here we are, right at the base almost of Mount Beadell.
I got halfway up and I went, I should have put half in.
We're on the top of Mount Beadell now.
The memorial theodolite was erected by 4-wheel drivers from every Australian state at Mount Beadell and was unveiled on May the 12th, 1996. 163 people turned up with 71 trucks at the memorial's unveiling ceremony. Make our way down Mount Beadell. Well, this is Camp Beadell, and there's water available but no pump. Well, that has changed. According to this, the pump was put in by R. Jennings, of Carrawarra by the looks of things, on the 12th of May 2006. So there is now a pump here at Camp Beadell. In his books, Len Beadell talks about changing an engine in a truck, and they did it by digging out a piece of earth and then rigging up some bundies across the dugout area, and then driving the truck in and then having to change the engine. That's basically what they were doing. What we think, so this is where it happened.
Now what really saddens me is not that people come out here and stay at the camp, or in fact have a party here. It's just the fact that they don't take their shit with them when they leave. This is disgusting. I'd like to say it's un-Australian, but unfortunately it's not.
Turalaki Mountain.
Springer would nearly look like this, wouldn't it?
What would look like this, you say? We're in the middle of nowhere. Well, not a lot of trees or anything. We're in the middle of a big plain. I think it's raining over towards the south, which is that way.
Smile for the camera, Trucky.
Notabill's Hill, middle of nowhere. There's a stone cairn being built. There's no explanation for what it's all about that I'm aware of. So there it is. Someone had plenty of time on their hands.
Trucky and Riggs now coming down towards the bore where we're currently stopped. This track is very sandy. Very sandy. Pouring some water here so that the birds will get something to drink. Look at them come for it. Oh, they're loving it.
We're somewhere here on this corner, I'd say. Len Beadell's tree would be about 25 k's, I'd reckon, down, and then 35 to Mount Charles, and then it's 52 down to the Warburton Roadhouse.
Is this point where we stopped last night?
Where we stayed last night was up here at Mount Everard.
That's right.
Everard, right here.
Just over the road from Mount Gordon.
So we've travelled down here. That's where we were, Mount Beadell. Camp Beadell we had a look at. That's where the hole in the ground truck repair was. And we're, like I say, around here somewhere now.
Beautiful. Well, we're at another one of Len Beadell's trees. This one indicates that we're exactly halfway between Carnegie and Giles. Carnegie's 223 miles, almost halfway anyway, 223 miles back to the west, and Giles is 235 miles to the east.
Disappeared altogether there.
It says Warburton 126. This is the turn off to the Heather Highway. Down there, head south off the Gunbarrel here.
Okay, one of the conditions of doing the Gunbarrel is you're not allowed to travel between the Heather Highway and Jackie Junction. A lot of people do it, but the conditions of the permit is you can't do it. So this is the Heather Highway, and it is not looked after terribly much. In fact, it's not looked after at all. What the boys have stopped for down the road is they've got some camels they're looking at.
Slow ride down. Riggs is a camel up here, eh?
No worries, mate.
Now on the Great Central Road. Just about 3 kilometres out of Warburton, if that. The Warburton Roadhouse. They don't like you filming in Warburton, so I won't be doing too much. But there's not really much to film, to be honest. There's their truck. All the fuel up here is under lock and key. Case in point.